She spent months looking at the world through a hole in the wall, as if she still believed that at any moment someone would come back. Inside an empty house where there was once presence, routine and care, only silence and waiting remained. That's where Safira stayed, forgotten after her owner passed away and the family left. The house was closed, but she was still inside. No one came back. No one called her name. And even so, Safira didn't give up. The days passed slowly. Without understanding what had happened, she kept waiting for footsteps at the gate, for a familiar voice, for any sign that she hadn't been left behind. But time only brought more silence. Alone, she found a way to not completely lose contact with the outside world. A small hole in the wall became her only window. That's where Safira would peek through, watching the street, as if trying to feel part of something again. Trapped on one side, but with her eyes always looking out. And in the middle of all that, a small act made all the difference. A neighboring family noticed there was a life inside that house. Even without being able to enter, they decided to help however they could. They would toss food and water over the wall. It wasn't ideal, it wasn't enough, but it was what kept Safira alive. Months went by like that. Almost 5 months of loneliness, waiting, and a silent routine sustained only by small acts of kindness from the outside, until someone decided that it had to end. When the story reached Jessica, there was no hesitation. That situation couldn't continue. Safira couldn't spend another day trapped, forgotten, living like that. And with that decision, everything began to change. Today, we decided to change this story. The rescue finally happened. After so long without care, Safira was taken out of that place. For the first time in months, she received real attention. She had a bath, grooming, had fleas removed, and began receiving the basic care she hadn't had for so long. Every detail made a difference, and the result was impossible to ignore. When she came back, the transformation was already visible, cleaner, lighter, but most of all, different in her behavior. Safira seemed to understand that something had changed. In the videos, she approaches people, hugs them, constantly seeking contact, giving affection as if trying to make up for everything she lost, as if she still had so much love saved inside, just waiting for the right moment to show it. But this new phase also brought responsibilities. There were still many unanswered questions. No one knew her age, whether she had been vaccinated, dewormed, or what health conditions she might have after so long without proper care. Now the most important part begins, Jessica explained. Safira needed a veterinary consultation, exams, vaccines, medication, and proper documentation. It was the beginning of a process to ensure that, this time, everything would be done the right way. To make that possible, a support campaign was created. The goal was to raise resources to cover all the care she needed. According to Jessica, everything was done transparently, with updates showing each step of this new journey. And as if fate had planned something even more special, that moment happened on a meaningful date. Exactly 1 year earlier, on that same day, Jessica had adopted Rico, another dog who changed her life. And in that moment, another adoption story was beginning. Safira got a new name. She was Safira. Now she's not Safira anymore. She's Lady. Wrapped in a towel, held in loving arms, she was no longer the forgotten dog inside an empty house. Now she was part of a family. She had a new beginning, and it didn't take long for her true spirit to show. Full of energy, Lady had barely arrived home when she ended up falling into the pool, making everyone laugh and showing that despite everything she had been through, her joy was still there. It was as if she had saved all that happiness, waiting for the right moment to finally live it. Today, Lady Safira has a new home, a new dad, a new mom, and a completely different routine. She sleeps safely, wears a pink collar, gets toys, affection, and attention every single day. And most importantly, she no longer has to wait. She no longer needs to look at the world through a hole in the wall. Jessica also spoke about the judgment she received when asking for help. Some people believed that because she is a business owner, she wouldn't need support, but she was clear. This is not about having or not having money, it's about not turning your back. For her, adoption has always been part of her life. Her son Josue is adopted, Rico was adopted, and now Lady Safira is part of this family built on care and a daily choice to love. A choice to love. And now, one thing is certain, Lady will never be abandoned again. From now on, may she only know care. Have you ever seen a simple act completely change an animal's life? Subscribe to the channel and keep following real stories and news.